She's all you'd ever want. She's the kind I'd like to flaunt and take to dinner. But she always knows her place. She's got style, she's got grace. She's a winner. She's a lady. Oh, 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 she's a lady. Talking about that little lady. And the lady is mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hero Movie Podcast, your greatest source for superhero movie discussion in the multiverse. I'm your host, Adam Fortress, and now that Kanye's out, it's time for the new face of Adidas, Sweet Sean's and Kovacs from the internet.
We call them cheesies.
And he could have sworn M'Baku kept saying cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, Bruce Leslie.
The prickly pear is the original heart-shaped herb.
Ooh, isn't it? All right, welcome back, everybody. International November continues, but unfortunately, last week I had forgotten that Wakanda Forever was coming out. Isn't that like me though? Like seriously, 1 week out of working in the movies, I'm done with that now.
Totally done the schedules,
and it's just like I don't even care. Like I have so divorced myself so fast from that job that I just don't even recognize when a new Marvel tentpole movie is coming out. For heaven's sake! So yes, we will move Enola Holmes 2 to next week, but this week we've got to be talking about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I tried to put all the words in the same thing. I'm so excited about it. But before we get going in on all of that, we do want to say a giant thank you to everyone that supports this show over at patreon.com/HMP. Those awesome people get pre-show, post-show, and the Dinger Zone. This week on the Dinger Zone, we review Weird, the Al Yankovic story. That's on Roku right now. So if you'd like to get that review, a little something extra for you is over there. Head on over to patreon.com/the Dinger Zone. Join up, or /HMP rather, and join up at any level to be able to get that Dinger Zone and so much more. And if you can't do that, or you just want something physical in your life, why don't you go get yourself some Dirty Babies merch? That's over there in the store as well. So again, big giant thank you to everyone that supports the show. Patreon.com/HMP. And if you can't do that, why don't you drop us a review on iTunes? 5 stars, aka Humdinger.
Humdinger.
So we really appreciate all of you fine folks. Okay, boys, it is a big time, man. Marvel is cranking out yet another film, so here it is. Here's a trailer for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Only the most broken people can be great leaders.
His people did not call him general or king. They called him Kukul Khan, the feather serpent god. Killing him will risk eternal war.
He's coming for the surface world.
What you whisper. They have lost their protector. Now is our time to strike. Show them who we are.
Alrighty, that was the trailer for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. You know what time it is. Oh, Bruce, what do you got for us this week?
Namor. I feel like I've never gotten a good chance to talk about Prince Namor. But Namor first appeared in Marvel Comics #1, which is the first one, all the way back in October 1939, which means he preceded Aquaman by about 2 years. And many comic book historians consider him, Namor the Submariner, to be comics' first anti-hero. Namor was created by Bill Everett, who also created Daredevil, and he wasn't originally planned for Marvel. The original plan was for Namor to be featured in Motion Picture Funny's weekly #1. The plan was for this comic to be given out in the movie theaters as an extra enticement to get people to go to the movies. Imagine that, Adam. Namor in movie theaters. What a gas. Now, instead, Everett used his character for Funnies Inc.'s first client, pulp magazine publisher Martin Goodman. And the original 8-page story was expanded by 4 pages for Marvel Comics #1. Did you know that? Did you know that Marvel got its start by outsourcing comics to Motion Picture Funnies Weekly to get their comics produced? Well, anyway, Namor was an immediate hit, and he quickly became cemented as one of Timely Comics' big 3, along with the original Human Torch and Captain America. Everett went on to introduce Namor's cousin Namora as a supporting character. And Namora first appeared in Marvel Mystery Comics #82 in 1947 in a 12-page story appropriately titled The Coming of Namora. She had her own comic book series, Namora, which ran from August to December in 1948. And while this title only lasted for 3 issues, she regularly appeared with Namor in Marvel Mystery Comics and also in Submariner until that series ended in 1955. It turns out Namora is not her original name, but her original name was Aquaria Nautica Neptunia. That was just way too many water-themed words in a row. In the comics, she has wings on her feet, too. But try as she might, Namora never achieved the name recognition of her cousin, who was introduced into the Silver Age in an odd way. In Fantastic Four #4, Johnny Storm, the new Human Torch, discovers him, Prince Namor, living as an amnesiac homeless man in the Bowery section of Manhattan. Johnny Storm helps him recover his memory, and Namor immediately returns to his undersea kingdom, later identified as Atlantis. And speaking of homeless men with underwater principalities, Adam, do you have a list?
Oh, let me tell you, boys, if that wasn't enough for you, let me sell everybody on this biggest film since Top Gun Maverick, because this sucker's got everything. We've got Shuri. We've got Namor. We've got UK Jim Halpert. We got Elaine Bennis, Maz Kanata. We got Stella, and her groove is back. We got Anderson Vanderbilt Pooper, who pops in to show us what real journalism's kind of guys look like, you know? We got Riri Williams and even Lake Bell, but no Black Panther. What gives? Oh, that's right. Anyways, we've got a good send-off for Chadwick Boseman, crazy water fights, water bursts, winged feet, laser daggers, magic doors, grand speeches, caskets that'll make Gene Simmons say, write that down, write that down. Beam me up, Scotty. We got flashbacks galore, wall art, friendship bracelets, songs from the sea, so good they'll make you take a long walk off a short pier, ashy head talk, knock off Iron Man suit, blue people that are sure to piss off James Cameron, a car water explosion that absolutely have to have been shot for real, Mayan basketball, the ancestral plane, clothes burning, water raging, mannequin smashing, carrot eating, red hot chili listening, head dresses, lip discs, 15 wig changes for Angie Bassett. I wouldn't have it any other way. Nice superhero cameo, fire everywhere, sauna action, a quick wrap up complete with it's all good now, guys. We game off. Sorry about all that mess, by the way. Mid credit sequence, but no after credit sequence because you wouldn't be too mad at that. This sucker's darn near 3 hours long. Woo! But this movie's got everything.
And it should at 3 hours long.
It should at 3 hours long. There should be some sort of kitchen sink in here. I can't say that I saw one, but we got to look for deleted scenes. Maybe, I don't know.
Long one, and I think part of what compounded the length is that it really starts off with a melancholy tone, and this is a melancholy movie. And I don't know, kind of what I told my sons after we saw it is like, I came for like a popcorn flick and they gave me a real movie, and I'm a little pissed about that. Why did they have to go and give me a real movie on a day I wasn't in the mood for a real movie?
Well, you know, Ryan Coogler, here's the thing about this movie to me, is that Ryan Coogler and people, I haven't looked around, but I haven't seen what people are saying about this movie, but he basically had to do the same thing that Dark Knight Rises had to do, you know, where you have a movie where you have an idea of what's going to happen next in your film, and then one of your leads passes away. And I know that Coogler already had the script written, like he was done. And it was approved.
Yeah, they
like
were raring to go.
Everything was ready. The drums were beaten, and they were getting ready to make the movie. And then life got in the way, and then he had to go back to the drawing board. And when that happens, you can either get the Dark Knight Rises, or you can get like what they do for this movie, which is we need to bring this up. And I think that might be one of the issues with Dark Knight Rises for me, is that you clearly had something else in your head of what this third film was going to be. And instead you went a different way because you had to.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to bring up the Joker stuff. That's completely understandable. But that means that everyone else is left, on the lurch also. And so one of the things about this movie is that they do, in fact, they lean into it instead of going the other way with it. And I thought that was a really nice touch. And it was deftly handled, too, because they could have done something terrible to make this movie unwatchable.
They could have tried to give him the Paul Walker treatment that Fast and Furious did, which I don't think was the way to go.
I didn't think they were going to, but like there was a 1% in me that was just like, boy, I hope they don't have a CGI Chadwick in this thing, because I just wouldn't feel right. And I wouldn't think that would come from Coogler based on what I've seen from his past films and stuff. I don't think he would do that, but you never know. You never know how like Disney would be like, well, it'd be really awesome though. Oh,
and
so
it's funny that you bring up Fast and the Furious, Bruce, because once there was the opening, I know that Vin Diesel wanted to be Black Panther.
Interesting.
That's not true. That's a total lie. That's a straight up lie.
But here's those lies that is so believable.
Because he's so conceited that you would picture him going like, that sounds like something he'd say.
Listen, after I'm done with my George Washington biopic, I want to be the new Black Panther.
You see, as a multiracial guy, I could just kind of do really whatever I want to do. Like, not like that, though, dude. Not like that.
One of the things that I have to say about both Black Panther movies is that there is a level of class with these films that I don't know if I was expecting. In both cases, there's something very regal about the first one, which there damn well should be, because it has to do with the royal family. And the second one, same thing. But there are so many cliffs they could have dropped off of on this movie, and everybody would have been like, yeah, okay, that's all right. Like you're trying your best, like that could have happened. And it never happened. There wasn't a moment where I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, think of that man's family, and it never happened. And I thought maybe something would make me roll my eyes, and there's a lot that made me roll my eyes in this movie, but it has nothing to do with the way that they dealt with the real life scenario that they had to deal with.
And the thing is like you said, the regalness and everything that comes from this, and how Ryan Coogler is still a young guy. He's not even 40 years old at this point.
No. And he's jacked too.
He sounds like every dude I ever met in Atlanta. He just sounds like that guy, because he's just that smooth young street kind of guy, and just puts out this work that is just elevated. I don't know. There's a weird patina on what he does. Between this and Creed, Fruitvale Station, look back at all the stuff. He's had an eye from the beginning, and boy, does it still continue to go with this. And we'll get into some of the other cool things that I love that he's doing later on when we talk about other characters.
But you have just brought up a very good thing, which is that can you like what is your favorite Ryan Coogler movie? Having just seen this. So I know that he did Fruitvale Station, right? Mm-hmm. He did Creed. He's done Black Panther 2. Is there one I'm missing?
I don't know of any other than that.
Don't think so. I got his page up right here. I'll check real fast. But I think that's it. So director. No, those are the only ones that we know. The others are just shorts.
Okay. So now that you've seen his whole filmography, where do they land for you?
I'd probably go Creed 1. He only did Creed. I just want to, but the first Creed. Probably Creed, Black Panther, Fruitvale Wakanda. I think that's my order.
Yeah. What about you, Bruce?
I would put Wakanda in the fourth spot. I would put Black Panther at the top, and then Fruitvale Station and Creed, kind of a toss-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
I love Fruitvale.
both
The reason why I ask is that I love Fruitvale Station. I love that movie.
I really, really like Creed, but I like the original Black Panther better.
Mhm.
So it's not like I don't like Creed and Fruitvale Station. It's like I like them both, but I couldn't pick one over the other because they're kind of different, you know? Kind of really different.
Yes, very true. I like all of his movies. I think that he hasn't made a bad movie yet, which is, a rarity, especially when you're dipping your toes into the Marvel stuff, because they don't let you be a filmmaker a lot of the time.
Twice over, no less. Where it's just like he came back and they're just like, yeah, we'll continue to allow you to do whatever you want to do. That's a big deal.
But clearly that didn't happen in this movie. They did not let him do whatever he wanted because there was a whole lot of stuff that they had to build out. There's a whole lot more connective tissue this time in this movie. They let him make a Black Panther movie last time. This time it's, you are now part of the Marvel universe because we got a lot riding on this bad boy.
Knowing absolutely nothing about nothing, I do feel like they let him set the tone and pick the course. But yeah, they also said, but we got to have
no.
much Riri. We got to have this much Val.
You're right. Listen, I'm not going to say that. Yeah, maybe I went a little bit too far. I went a little too far because obviously they had to. I embellish a little bit for a podcast that I do, but but no.
What's the name of that podcast?
Hair Movie Podcast. If you take, and I love it, and I don't want her taken out at all. But Riri Williams does not need to be in this movie
at all.
You could take her out, and it doesn't mean anything.
That was one of my topics of conversation I had, and let's circle back to that because I think there's a little bit more to be said.
A whole lot more for me. That's my biggest complaint of the movie, but yes. Bruce, you seem like somebody who's a big Namor fan. Did you like Namor in this?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I will say
very disappointed in Namor.
I like Namor. I was hesitant about what Namor would be in this movie. Nothing against the actor, not the type of actor that I would have thought of in that role or whatever. The Mayan thing was like, I didn't like it at first, but I've seen this movie twice, just for the record for everybody.
Were they Mayan or Aztec? Couldn't even.
They're Mayan. Aztec.
Okay. No, they're Mayan.
Yeah, I was fairly certain it said Mayan. So
we said Mayan, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's why Bruce making me second guess, but. I was surprised at how much I really dug into it and how much I liked Namor, and I felt like they got the idea of Namor pretty correct. I mean, there's obviously things that have been changed around a whole bunch, but I still feel like the idea of that is there. And another thing that kind of kills me, obviously, that Chadwick not being here. So like him and T'Challa are like nice opposite sides of the coin together, yes, and fight each other all the time. So not having that other one there, but I liked seeing him in that role, and it made a whole lot of sense to me. I was very shocked at how much I really liked how they handled Namor in this movie.
The one cool thing, and Bruce, maybe you know this better than I do, but one of the really cool things that they kept is that, remember in the 90s where they tried to make everybody a mutant because everybody was a mutant in the 90s because that's what sold?
Yes, indeed.
And they made Namor the first mutant.
Yes.
And I and it was really cool that they left that in the movie because they didn't have to, and they did, and I thought that was great. It's
pretty solid canon that Namor's a mutant at this point, and it's a good opportunity to start paving that way for the X-Men.
But at the same time, too, like just that phrase alone being said in a Marvel movie is a big deal. I don't know that it, like, the word mutant has even been said at this point.
You know what? You're probably right.
I think
it's a little bit bigger of a deal than we actually kind of think about, because
once again,
they very painstakingly didn't say mutant in so many of those movies.
Namor, the first mutant in Marvel Comics, the first mutant in the MCU.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah.
But here, I'll tell you what my complaints are, because they're pretty superficial for the most part. But one of them I think is a little bit more legit. But the first
thing, an Asian guy.
What's that?
He's not an Asian guy.
Well, no. What I'm going to say is he's not like got the buff. Come on, we've all seen Namor.
Yes.
And Namor's got a certain swimmer's physique that this actor doesn't have.
Yes.
And this guy, all I could think is like, man, if they made like a Republic Cereals Namor movie, this is what the insurance salesman they cast to play Namor would look like. Like he really does have that like Republic Cereal superhero physique.
He does. You're not wrong.
Man.
It's like
you're not
it's
wrong.
like it's not out of shape, but you wouldn't look at him and be like, that guy's really in shape.
It's like this is how you were in shape before gyms existed. Like you're not, you know, like you
There's no
got your love
HGH
handles.
back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, like you got your love handles, but you can also lift 100 pounds over your head. You know,
Body by Lalaine.
You're Charles Atlas shape. All right.
but I mean, I'm not used to Namor with tiny little love handles when he turns around and no Speedo. Like they knew they were not going to put this guy in a Speedo.
Listen. I prefer the shorts. I think they made the right decision with the shorts.
I wanted to go pure thong.
I did like all of the, the accoutrements to his outfit and everything all being vibranium and stuff, and like kind of it made that utilitarian, I guess, in a slight way.
Yes.
I
Yes.
thought that was really cool.
Moving beyond the superficial stuff, I have no concern at all. Like the introduction of the lore that he is Mayan doesn't bother me. You know, some people will maybe complain about that, some maybe not.
Yeah, at first I didn't like it, but like as the more that it went on, and definitely by the time that you get like his big action scene and everything, it's just like, boy, I don't care about any of that.
And, you know, I kind of think of Namor as Atlantean, so I don't really put any surface world ethnicity to it. But you know what? If it's an area where Marvel Comics maybe doesn't have a good hero representation, why not? You know, this is a way to bring more people into the fold. So I got no problem with the ethnicity of it all.
Yeah.
I don't like that they made the other ones blue.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's weird, and like
way,
Adam called out, that's a little too Avatar. I mean, I'm seeing a trailer for Avatar right before this movie starts, and that's just a little too weirdly like similar.
You know what's kind of cool though? Like this is like a sly little weird thing that they did. When they're out of the water, they're blue. When they are in the water and stuff, they get down to what is more of an actual what their flesh tone color would actually look like.
Let's think about that. That's because the old, and it's a fallacy. It's not really true, but the idea that deoxygenated blood looks blue, oxygenated blood looks red. So they come out of the water and they have less oxygen being absorbed because they got to get by on that little thing on their mouth. They go under the water. They're like oxygen rich. Or it could be like Splash, where her tail grows when it's wet. That would have been funny too.
I'd say like
That'd be way cooler.
For the design of all of those. I'm going like a 7 out of 10 on that. I liked it. It wasn't amazingly crazy about it, but like I said, 7 out of 10 for the design of all the.
I like Namor enough in this movie. I think it's the rarest of rare in a Marvel movie where the bad guy, the villain, isn't just has the same power set as the good guy. Like that was a very nice change where like, look, I have nothing to do with Black Panther stuff. Like I live underwater and I'm the king.
Yeah. I'm new here.
I like that.
My biggest complaint about Namor is I didn't find his performance to be very good.
The actor isn't hammering it home. That's for sure.
I would say it felt. I don't think amateurish is the right word because they're working actors. They're just working on a different type of show.
Yeah.
Like this was a CW performance, maybe a performance that would work on the science fiction channel. But it just doesn't seem like one that works in a theatrical release from Marvel. At least not for me.
I think I know what you're getting at. Part of the acting with him seems like it's not there's not that immediacy to everything. It feels like he's just kind of he's there, and I feel like he's trying to make that part of the character, but I don't know that it works enough. For me, I want Namor to be that kind of super assertive. I know everything. I'm smarter than all of you suckers. Everyone is just kind of getting in my way at this point.
There's
And
also
he doesn't.
There's
have
also
that.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
So there's also he has also a massive problem in this movie. Just the actor does, which is that he has so much time with Angela Bassett, and Angela Bassett is probably going to be nominated for what she did in this movie. Don't you think? I think she's going to get nominated.
She'll at least get nominated, I think.
I mean, Do I think she deserves it? Yes. Do I think she'll get it? I could.
No, she's not going
right.
to. She's not going to win, but
She's
she's
not gonna win, but
definitely
she'll
going to
be
be
in it.
nominated.
No, I'm even talking about the nomination because we're still just a little.
Have
we're
you
not
seen
that early for awards?
Bercy, have you seen the movies of 2020? She'll be nominated.
Actually, the answer is no, Adam. I haven't seen any.
Exactly, because most of them
nominated.
suck. She'll be nominated.
Well, good. I'm happy for her. I mean, the first one.
Have you guys seen the new Fletch movie yet?
No.
And I heard it's awesome. I heard it's just like the cartoon.
It's really good.
But anyway, I think that good. Well, I'm glad that you guys feel confident she'll get nominated. I don't feel so confident. I feel like this movie is more of a Best Picture Oscar bait movie than the first one was. And the first one got nominated, so I wonder if the second one will get nominated again. I don't know. Now that they nominate 14 movies, you never know what's going to happen.
What's your?
I think. Well, they don't do that anymore.
It might
They
be.
don't nominate 10 movies anymore or whatever.
No,
I don't know. Who knows? I haven't watched it in the last.
they
couple of
they
years.
don't. I don't either. But I was listening to a different podcast and they were saying, I can't believe they're not doing this anymore.
You listen to other podcasts? How dare you?
I do. Well, if I only listened to this one, I would go insane.
Well, fair enough.
That explains a lot about me.
All right. Which Angela Bassett look was your favorite? I'll start and give you a second to put together. Mine was what I'll call sexy black Ellen Burstyn in Requiem for a Dream, where she's got the short hair.
Nobody has ever put those words together in that order. Sexy black Ellen Burstyn. It's the first, people.
But am I not wrong? Is that not what we got?
You know what? I can't disagree.
You can't, because it's perfect. And it's just like, yeah.
I'm
that
not
was my
even going to
favorite.
pick because you got the best one. Just the way you describe it is the best.
I got to say, I'm really into the way she dresses for the UN. Like, I really like the formal wear that she has. Like that.
All right, fine. I like the funeral one.
Good stuff. It's good.
She looks gorgeous in that scene. She looks gorgeous in every scene.
Okay.
You know, she's going to put that. That's going to be the first line on her CV from now on. Is I'm known as the sexy black Ellen Burstyn.
What happened to her career? And here's what I think. I think that maybe it's because of Strange Days, because she was like the hottest. Like, this actress is going to be around forever. Get ready. She's an amazing actress. She's gorgeous. Like, get ready. And then after Strange Days, she just kind of went away. Her and Ray Fiennes.
I've never seen Strange Days.
Well, don't. It's terrible.
Oh,
But after that movie, it seemed like both their careers went right into the crapper until, Ray Fiennes gets pulled out of the dumpster by Schindler's List.
And she gets pulled out
we
by
have
Critters 4.
I was going to say he got pulled out by Harry Potter. My mind was in a totally different direction in terms of.
Well, I mean, that definitely brought him into the consciousness again. But his work in being the bad guy and
Oh man, what a
Schindler's
double
List.
feature! Schindler's List and Chambers.
Critters 4.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, and I did mention it, but like in '98, how Stella got her groove back, like that was her big giant movie.
Right. And she's great in it and she's amazing. But I mean, what I'm saying though is that like her career just kind of like it seemed to fall off a cliff for a couple of years. And I'm wondering if it's because of that terrible movie. Anyway,
I also
back to
wonder
Black
if
Panther.
if she ran into the Hollywood cavern, I'll say, when you're too old to play the daughter but not old enough to play the mom or something like that.
Oh,
like,
the Sandy Bullock thing.
Yeah, like with women, they get into this cavern that men don't seem to get into, where they have to go away for a little while, then come back as an elder person.
Now she's like
Right.
60 and looks 40. The world doesn't know what to think.
It's true.
Like- Rats, we should have kept her in pictures after all.
So let's talk about, since we're talking some characters here and ones that are here and ones that are not. Did Daniel Kaluuya make the right decision in picking Nope over Wakanda Forever?
Who?
Daniel Kaluuya, the dude from Nope and from the first Peel movie.
Okay, so I don't know him by name, but I know his face.
Yeah.
So I know who you're talking about now. What role was he offered in this?
Well, he was in the first Black Panther, so he was one of the main cast members.
Mhm.
Oh, well, once again, maybe I don't remember the guy.
Yeah.
So like I didn't miss him, so I guess he made the right choice.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, and he was really good in that in Nope. I thought Nope was a really great movie. So I mean that is
Also,
thought
when
Nope was-
when they
could have been
eventually
great.
make the third Black Panther movie, I mean, you're not doing the wrong thing when you bring him back, and he's gonna
that
be
and that will be a huge thing right there. And I think that's a smart thing, leaving him out of this movie to then bring him back, because he is. I think he's married to one of the Dormelage or something like that.
Oh, really?
If memory serves, I think it's something like that. But
in real life or in
no, in the movie. But
Okay.
like I think only technically they'll only really actually say it out loud in like a deleted scene or whatever in the first Black Panther movie. But like, so that's probably why you don't really remember it, because it was in a deleted scene and everything. But so him coming back in the third one, I think would really be that kind of boost that they'll probably need.
Mhm.
What do you think about this? Is somebody we mentioned and we agreed that she didn't really belong in the movie, but let's talk some more about Riri Williams and Ironheart. And the first thing I want to say is, it sounds like we've already answered this, but I kind of wanted to suggest that perhaps it would have been just fine to debut her on Disney Plus, and they did not need to debut her on the big screen. It sounds like you guys agree. Or do you think
I
we should have given
I
Ironheart a-
believe that's the case, but I don't. I like her in this movie. I think she does not. She absolutely does not need to be there, but I really enjoy the fact that she is. And as an undercover pilot for her show, guess what? I'm interested in that show now. When I could not have told you that I was interested before. I mean, I was interested in as much as we do a podcast where we review superhero crap, but I didn't know her from anybody. But something about it, these people in Hollywood, you see somebody and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I get it. She's one of those people. I saw her on screen and I'm like, oh, I understand why
Dominique Thorne?
Yeah, why she's getting her own show and everything. Like, she's just got a charismatic thing about her. You can't help but look at her.
But there's so much going on in this movie. You can take that part out.
Oh, you don't need it.
Here's the first thing I want to say about her. She should have built her Iron Man costume out of that giant shoehorn they used to squeeze her into the plot.
Yes.
Boy, they really do shoehorn her.
Yes, they do.
Plot. And yeah, I like the actor and I like the character, but this just wasn't the place to debut her. I do understand, though, the temptation, because 85% of this movie, there's no superhero.
Yeah.
So I can see you feel like, well, we'll put Riri in here, and then we got a superhero origin story at least.
And, but you've also lacked, like, while one of our main characters is denying the fact that she would want to, have anything to do with any of this stuff the entire time. So you need somebody to fill some roles.
And we got to bring up how bad the suit design is for Ironheart in this movie. It's awful.
I think that's the point, though. I think it's supposed to be crummy.
But crummy, you can make something look crummy and look like.
Are we talking? Hold on. Are we talking the one that she had that was in the garage, or the one that she develops later?
Both of them, because they both look like a knockoff of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Like they almost look like, what was that dumb, like, Masked Rider?
I think it's Common Rider or something, but
awful.
I think that the second one is more egregious because that's supposed to be the legit one.
And it's awful.
The first one doesn't bother me near as much as the second one. It is a little awful. It is a little bit bulky. I can see what they're doing, trying to keep some of it faithful to the comics, but then they didn't have they show all these times her in the heart-shaped cutout because Ironheart has her arc reactor in the shape of a heart. But then when she gets the final costume, they've gotten rid of Ironheart's heart. That's one of those things that I'm going to pick at, but it doesn't ruin the character. But I didn't like the costume. I guess that's the answer that we're
the big bad Beetleborgs. That's what she looks like.
Yes, a big bad Beetleborg is never anybody's top choice of what they want to look like.
Well, the nice thing is, though, they've at least left you to the point where they're like, nope, you can't have that to go to your new show by yourself. You've got to start from the beginning and go from zero, which I'm like, all right, fair enough.
And do you think that maybe if we had gotten a new Black Panther sooner, that would have been a good decision? Or do you think they timed it right, waiting as long as we did to get a Black Panther?
I think that you have to do character. You have to do justice to the memory of Black Panther. You have to do that work. And they did. I think that when it comes to the stuff that worried is the wrong word, that there was a concern over how this was going to be portrayed. None of that is offensive. They did a great job with all of that. It's the other stuff. It's the stuff where you can feel Marvel like, oh, hey, and also don't forget that Val's got to show up too. Oh, and also don't forget that there's going to be a kid, like stuff like that, where it's like, can we just have a Black Panther movie, please?
And Riri was also a little bit older than I'd always envisioned her in my mind. I thought more high school than college. Kind of like Spider-Man age in the first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Also, let's see another thing.
No. Hold on. She's 19, I think she said. So yeah, still collegey, but maybe I was thinking like, oh, maybe she was like 16 in college or something like that. But no,
and I don't know how old the actor is, but Dominique Thorne looks about 27 to me. If I was just taking like a roundabout guess, I'm saying mid-20s with her.
Shots fired, Holland, Dominique. Let me take a look at what this man looks like and see if you could come up with a better Barb than that.
Tom Holland does look 19, no matter the fact that he's 42 or something.
That's true, though.
Yeah, so it's not like the real age matters, but she looks her age, whereas some people don't. And looking her age is fine, but I've always pictured Riri a little bit younger. What do you think if they had made the decision for Black Panthers or for T'Challa's widow to be the new Black Panther?
I would have been okay with it because she's amazing.
Yeah, she's not for nothing, but a better actor, and I think one that but at the same time too, also one that you're like, she's probably going to get bigger and better work than what you're going to.
And that's the other, and that's the secret to this movie for me is that
Adam's mumbling she might get bigger and better work than being Black Panther, one of the marquee characters, highest grossing franchise in the history of high grossing.
But I understand what Adam's saying is that he's saying that she probably wants the freedom to be able to do whatever the hell she wants, and if you're Black Panther, you probably can't.
And I was watching this though, and I was really starting to expect them to be like playing a trick on us, where we were all set to think Shuri would be the next Black Panther, and then to surprisingly have it be her. I was waiting for that twist that never happened to happen, but then it got me thinking about, I honestly think she'd have been a better Black Panther, not just the in terms of actor versus actor, but in universe, we actually see her going out into the field and infiltrating without any powers. So you give her those Black Panther powers, she's even better. Whereas Shuri is, she's microchip. She belongs in the lab,
which is
in the van.
Which is the thing that we haven't even discussed yet, which is the character of Shuri in this movie.
I don't like the way she's characterized very much in this movie, and I liked her quite a bit in the last one. So the way I guess that she's dealing with her grief and with the changes must be what I don't like about her.
To me, Shuri is a character that is like the Punisher, where like the Punisher is an awesome character as long as it's not the main character. And like she has her great moments in this movie, but I don't know if it's a thing where I think that the character and the actress, like the melding of these two things, it just doesn't work perfectly, putting her as the main in this movie, or if it's just the character themselves don't belong as the lead. And when you have, again, it's one of those things where like you have all of these amazing performances happening around you, and now you're in the middle of this, like it's a tough. And
a lot of it is just asking her to, kind of sulk.
Yes.
Like that's a lot of the acting is just like, hey, look super, upset and just you can't get things together. Keep that kind of vibe about you. It's like it's not like she has a ton to do, and that may be also kind of a shortcoming of just having that be the character that needs to, hold the brunt of all the stuff. It's probably not the wisest of moves.
Something else that struck me is that this was my least favorite Martin Freeman to date. I don't remember disliking him at all in the first one. But also maybe I don't remember too many details about him because we had such a spectacle and such an eye-catching, charismatic lead and Chad Boseman that I just didn't pay as much attention to Martin Freeman. Whereas this time around, I'm paying more attention to him, maybe because I'm not finding beyond Angela Bassett a whole lot of personalities that are engaging. honestly, I think, but beyond her, I didn't really care much for any of the main characters. So I was looking for more intrigue, I guess, with the side characters. I found Martin Freeman to be not that enjoyable in this movie compared to when he's been in other Marvel stuff. And his American accent even seemed worse to me.
Are you kidding? I was just about to say I thought his American accent was fantastic. I thought it. I'm just like, yeah. I bought it.
I barely remember him in this except for when it comes to the Val stuff.
Did they insinuate that he and Val?
Yeah, they're divorced. Yes.
Okay. Because I thought I heard that, but I've only seen the movie once, and it's going to be a while before I give it a second watching because it's kind of heavy and it's long. So I didn't know if I got that or not. So I'm glad you guys can confirm that they were once married, which that is an interesting twist. Can you picture the two of them together? Because I can't.
She can do better.
Yeah, but I mean, the height-wise, it all matches up real well, though. They're tiny little people.
What'd you think
They are
of
tiny.
Val's new hairdo with the blue streak in her hair? We hadn't seen that in the.
Listen, I'm not going to tell you that I didn't like it because I did. So why don't you just shut up and move on to the next question?
She is one of those actors where it's like you smile when you're watching her. Like there's something about her. I just love her.
Even when she's being a piece of garbage.
Yes, it's true. Although it was nice to see her give more than one speed this time because you know she usually gives at least the last two times we've seen her it's been one speed, so it was nice to see.
And she's slowed
and
down
goodbye. Yeah, and there was a little more this time, which was nice because I didn't know how they were going to portray this character, and they did a good job.
And here's the weird part. Because, we don't really know much about this character other than the kind of little cameos that she's kind of had and stuff. But at the same time, too, it's like we almost have some, character development even within that. Because as they're going, she goes, I have some things I want to apologize for about our marriage. And I was just like, wow, what a weird interest. That character is growing enough to where she wants to have, a conversation about, I don't know. I just thought it was wildly interesting that doesn't need to be there, but it's kind of cool that it is. I don't know.
Yeah. I agree.
I want to apologize for letting you be as bad of a person as you were. I should have told you. I should have complained more. So
I guess also it's just I guess it's wishful thinking that your ex comes back and just goes, "I'm sorry that I was a jerk." Maybe I think I just realized that right now is more or less it's me just going, I want them to come back and be like, I was wrong, and I'm like, yeah, you were.
But I love how they're building her as this nebulous queen of the underground, in the gray area between good and evil. I love that character. And the fact that she does just pop up in these cameos makes her that much more mysterious. But then finding out, that her and Martin Freeman used to, share a blanket. Now that is something I wouldn't have seen coming.
That, my friends, is juicy details. I don't know why it's like that felt like the vibe you were giving off.
That sounds like some hot goss.
The
other thing, hold on, because I'm going to forget if I don't say it right now, is that when I saw Val show up and, all of the Dark Avengers stuff is coming, it makes me even more certain that when you hire Harrison Ford to play the role of Thunderbolt Ross, there is absolutely no way we're not getting Red Hulk, and I mean soon.
Okay.
And I saw an old video of Harrison Ford with a mustache again, reminding me oh, that's right. He does look good with a mustache.
He just looks good, period, man. He's 127 years old and he's still getting it
coming
done.
in there with that mustache. Oh yeah.
But his midlife crisis earring just doesn't.
That still doesn't hold up. And why he's still rolling with that? Most of the cats that did that in the 90s stopped, bro.
Yeah, I was one of them.
Yeah,
I did. I stopped. Although, to be fair, Harrison Ford's midlife crisis was 40 years ago. So
it's true.
Oh, man. For my midlife crisis, I got a Mr. T haircut.
His barber pitied him, that's for sure.
I also had my midlife crisis at 14 and got it out of the way.
I've seen too much. All right.
I do like it that they tried to explore the personalities of the Dora Milaje beyond Lupita Nyong'o and Denai Guerrera's characters.
That's because they're making a spin-off show.
I was about to say,
there's
do you know why that
Disney
is?
Plus show.
Well, I didn't know about that, actually. I feel like now that you say it, it's triggering a memory. But when I was putting that thought together, I didn't have that in mind. But I guess what I was going to say is I admire them for trying, but I feel like they fell flat a little bit. Or maybe that's just me, maybe that's my flaw and not the movie's flaw. But I feel like despite their attempt to try to explore them a little bit more, and they do introduce us to the Midnight Angels, which are from the comics, but I still felt like they missed the mark a little bit on the characterization beyond those two that we already know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, part of me doesn't care too much about them. Like, I maybe it's
well,
because
I think that sums up you're in agreement. If you don't care too much about them, they miss the mark.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, exactly. I just don't think that they. I don't think you can. Okay, I want to do this a little bit before we kind of get to Stallone Connection and all that kind of good stuff, because we reached out to a couple of people that support us over at patreon.com/HMP, and asked them what they thought of this movie. So I thought I would go through a couple of things from our guys. So Justin writes in. Justin said, I came into this film thinking it was the right decision not to recast T'Challa, and I came out of this film thinking it was the wrong decision. This was very well done, but the story needed T'Challa. Shuri needed more time to earn the credit she needs to carry this film in the second half. I give it a Tim Drake because I think it's the very best they could have done without T'Challa, but they really needed to finish the character's story. What do you think about that, guys?
I think I'm very glad that they didn't, because they're going to set it up to where, clearly they're bringing T'Challa back, different actor, different character, wink, wink.
Yeah,
but
it'll be a very, very Principal Skinner kind of thing.
Exactly.
Referring to the mid-credits reveal that there's a Chala Jr. out there.
Yeah, it's an Armin Tamzarian situation like you ain't never seen.
It will never speak of this again. And I think that you need to have this one movie as a buffer. And I know it sucks and everybody wants Chala to be back, but Chala's about to be back in 15 minutes, so it's going to be fine.
Bo writes in, overall quite good as an examination of grief, loss, and how we deal with that pain. While the Marvel Factory gives us a muddled story at times and the movie suffers from trying to do way too much at once, the movie acquits itself quite nicely with the excellent performances throughout. The biggest knock on the movie is something out of its control. The loss of Chadwick Boseman takes away the most charismatic and enjoyable aspects of the first movie. Overall, it's a Tim Drake for me, but even with the weakness, it is one of the better Marvel movies. That's Bo from Austin, Texas. Kevin writes in, Wakanda Forever did an outstanding job at mourning the passing of T'Challa and Chadwick Boseman. The only two issues I really have is with the movie is the contrived final battle felt very, contrived. And the death of the Queen felt very truncated. Losing Angela Bassett in the MCU is devastating to the franchise, to be honest. Her presence would have elevated future movies immensely. In the end, I still give this a low Dick Grayson. The space between my rating of this Black Panther is the space left by Chadwick. And that's from Kev, a.k.a. Will Billy. Dave writes in, I was not expecting the Queen to die. Namor was done quite nicely with a unique spin, and I anticipated the origin of his name. Val and Ross off. Blank off. What a couple. Syria's scientific herb was a great addition to the mythos. We didn't talk too much about the kind of the herb standpoint and all that. I thought that was an interesting point of how everybody in Wakanda has that idea of like, hey, we're the chosen one. We got the plant, we got the the vibranium and all that kind of stuff. And to find out that another surface has them as well, I thought that was a nice juxtaposition and a fun thing for them to do.
Well, and it's also setting something else up where something's going to happen to Wakanda now. Someone is going to attack. And it's going to be up to, these two cloistered factions of humans to band together to,
We already know there's a secret invasion storyline coming up, so that would be the perfect time for that to play out.
Yes, agreed.
Ooh, I just thought about this. Not for nothing, but Namor, member of the Illuminati, right? Mm-hmm. And arguably one of the most intelligent people in the Marvel universe. Does anybody get that vibe? with this guy?
No, that's not what this guy is.
I don't know. It's like I like him. I do. I really I like the performance. I like where they went with everything. But like I said, I don't know that that's the Namor that I know. But
I got to tell
it
you,
works for what it is.
I'll know if this is my name Namor or not by the way that he says Richards.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got to have some sort of real disdain and kind of just make it just.
Also,
right.
am I right in thinking that we saw our first indicator that Doctor Doom is in this universe?
I missed that. What was your indication that Doctor Doom is in this universe?
Lake Bell is playing a character that is Doctor Doom's like right hand. Am I right?
Lake Bell was in this movie?
Yes. That's first of all, I forgot to talk about that because I just wanted my one of my little rundown notes. Lake Bell is great, and I love that she's in this because it feels like she is in a different movie that we didn't see.
Well, that's why I think she's a Doctor Doom acolyte, is because why would you cast Lake Bell? She's a big. She's a fairly large name in a known quantity in the role that she's in this movie. If she's not going to be a bigger, badder, better thing later.
Yeah.
Well, I would be with you if not for the way Maria Hill has been handled.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes they do things that puzzle me like that.
It's true.
Well, my guess is you're going to see some Maria action.
Because I totally missed. I didn't pick up on that at all. So good catch there, Sean.
The Secret Invasion stuff. I mean, Maria Hill's got to be all over that with like a, right?
One would hope.
One would hope.
No comment.
And He-Hulk is going to round out our kind of Patreon reviews here. He writes, I thought it was great. A wonderful tribute to Chadwick Boseman. It hit me right in the feels and some weird grit got in my eyes. Was the generous 19-year-old basically Moon Girl? If so, where was Devil Dinosaur? I feel like Bruce probably knows what he's talking about there.
Oh, because I think I did hear something about Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur in this movie. Moon Girl, who was the generous girl that he's talking about?
A genius girl. I said generous.
Okay.
Genius is the word that I should have read, but
genius,
thus proving I am not a genius.
Moon Girl is indeed a genius. Moon Girl is a young black girl who is far and ahead of the other students in her academically gifted school, and she befriends a big red Tyrannosaurus Rex called Devil Dinosaur. And
I feel like I remember seeing something about that in books like way back when.
Was there another genius in this besides Riri?
Not that
I don't remember, man.
Yeah, I don't either. But when he said something about Moon Girl, it just jarred my memory that I thought I heard some whispers or something about Moon Girl showing up.
Maybe. This is the first. This is a cold read, by the way. Just kidding. I thought she was great. I don't know what all that means. Incoming Young Avengers confirmed. How many young characters are we up to now? I'm not sure what to think of the wings on Namor's feet. Maybe a bit too silly. Perhaps they could have departed from from that part of the original character design. I want to stop real there. I was worried about all that. I thought the wings on the feet were awesome. I thought the way Namor moved was amazing.
That's the part that was amazing. That was amazing that they make it look like he's swimming in air. That's amazing.
I loved it. I was just like, that was something I was very, very worried about, but they made something that could have been so stupid look wicked cool.
With those wings on his feet, though, I've always pictured Namor when he flies looking kind of like somebody who's ice skating for the first time. Like, it's got to be kind of hard to maintain your balance with your whole weight. It's very off center of gravity to have ankle wings. So I always pictured him as very tenuous up there, like just barely keeping it together.
It works, though. It's unreal. I was shocked at how much I really liked it. He continues. Also, the immortal / invulnerability, which made the baddies unlikable early in the movie, didn't seem explained. It seems later in the film that they can be killed off after all. Overall, it was great, possibly better than the first. I agree with other comments that killing off Angela Bassett is a great loss. Her character was fantastic. I'm not sure they should have done that, although it does add more pathos. Cheers, He-Hulk from Bristol, UK.
Well, thank you.
And yeah, so and again, that's another cool part about being a Patreon member is you get to have your voice heard on this show. But go ahead.
And they're also doing one more thing about Black Panther here is that they also did the thing where it looked like they were going to wipe out the entire family. Like I thought that's the way they were going with it, where Shuri's going to be the only person left.
Yeah.
But that's kind of cool that didn't happen. Like I wiping out the entire family seems a lot.
Now, at the same time, too, let's talk about this for half a second. Does Shuri come back as Black Panther at this moment? I don't.
Yes.
There's so many things because she's not going to be queen. It sounds like because they're arguing over who's going to do that. So is that
no. The way that I read it is that Winston Duke is the king of Wakanda now, but Shuri's Black Panther and she's taking care of stuff abroad.
Okay, that's
what I've heard of. You could think of Winston Duke's character as like a Castellan who's in charge when the king is away.
Yeah.
So like she's basically giving him that power, but he has that power by her grace.
Like
he's not
that makes sense.
in and of himself king.
And we all know that's going to last for 5 seconds because come this new one, all of a sudden there's going to be a 22-year-old T'Challa or T'Challa Jr. of which we'll just call T'Challa, and you mind as has always been. Shut up.
Exactly.
And we're going to see Killmonger had a twin brother who's still alive. And wants revenge.
That was pretty cool seeing him show up.
I like that a whole bunch.
He is one of the most beloved actors out there. I think he's just got a certain charisma about him, a certain appeal. Like I used to think he's a great actor, and I don't know because I think he gives the same performance and everything. He's just so darn like you just like the guy. Like to look at him, you're like, man, I want to be that guy's friend.
Yeah, he just has that it quality, just like the Riri girl does.
I've got a serious question here, but it's going to sound like a joke. Do you think that Michael B. Jordan, growing up, liked that his name was Michael Jordan or not?
Oh, that's a tough one.
I always wondered if Warner Brothers at least put out a phone call for Michael B. Jordan to be in the remake of Space Jam instead of LeBron.
Well, he's in it.
No, I mean like as the central character. I'm sorry.
Oh, I see.
Everybody's in it, dude. Like anybody who's ever walked past Warner Studios is in it.
Were you in The Shining? You're in that movie. Shut up.
That movie is
no, I mean like it's the central character. But yeah, the guy is pretty amazing.
That movie is awful.
I even believed Michael B. Jordan as a 36-year-old guy breaking into boxing. So
yeah,
I like him.
True, very good point.
I want him to bring in Killmonger from another dimension. I want him to bring in a twin brother for Killmonger. I want him to do something to get Michael B. Jordan alive again, because I think if through some kind of twist they hadn't killed Killmonger in the first Black Panther, he would have been the obvious choice to actually.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's almost one of those things where I was just like, are they going to take him out of the afterlife and kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, where they take him out into the real world and then we make him Black Panther? I was just like, bro, that's a move.
In the comics, when Black Panther dies and Shuri becomes Black Panther, there is a storyline where they go retrieve him from the plane of the ancestors. So maybe they just bring back Michael B. Jordan instead.
Hey, man, it's Hollywood magic. What can we say? All right, before we get to our final review here, we have to ask ourselves one very important question: is how is this giant Marvel movie relate back 1-to-1 with Sylvester Stallone?
Why, thank you, Adam. I have a prepared statement.
Oh.
Mr. Stallone, we never talk about this on our dumb show, and that's your brilliant 1992 masterpiece, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, a movie that has become synonymous with the phrase perfectly written comedy. In screenwriting classes, the two scripts in the syllabus are Tootsie and Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, and with good reason, they are perfect forms of the genre. You play Joe Bumowski, Bumowski, that's it. That's how you pronounce it. Joe Bumowski in the film. And if you don't mind me saying, sir, I believed every second of your performance. I believe that you were a tough-as-nails police sergeant. I believe that Estelle Getty was your mother. I even believed that you were Polish. Excellent work. But you know who else was excellent in this tour de force? Character actor Richard Schiff. You might know him from The West Wing or Jurassic Park 2, a movie where he gets by far the worst death of anyone in that movie.
It's true.
Hell, some people might know him from his role as Ratbag in Young Guns 2. But I bring him up today because he's also the U.S. Secretary of State in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. He's good in the role, Mr. Stallone, because Richard Schiff is good in everything. And although he has a very small role in Wakanda Forever, seeing him in this movie is like seeing a pair of sneakers that you forgot you like. You know what? Let me put it to you in terms that you'll actually understand. Seeing Richard Schiff in this movie is like when you're trying to sell your house in Beverly Hills and Adele buys it for $58 million and your headaches are over. I mean, sure, you were asking $110 million for the house, but are the headaches really worth the $52 million? Anyway, the Stallone connection this week is longtime character actor Richard Schiff. I hope to hear from you soon. Your pal, Sweet Shawnsy from the internet.
I got to say, I love seeing Richard Schiff on the screen here. Again, you were absolutely right. He's one of those guys you're just like, oh, sweet. And to the Stallone connection this week, wouldn't have guessed that he would have been the guy. But there we have it. Oof, you get one every week, everybody. So come back for the next one. All right, here at Hero Movie Podcast, we have our own patented Robin rating system. Bruce, where does Black Panther Wakanda Forever fall on the Robin rating system for you?
I think it's hard for me to be fair because I wasn't really ready for another Black Panther movie. I think, in my opinion, I definitely didn't want another Black Panther movie right now. I kind of wouldn't have minded if they just sort of retired the franchise for about 10 years. And once they've recast Iron Man and recast Captain America, then you can recast T'Challa. But I wouldn't mind, you still have the Dora Milaje have their show. That's fine. You still have Shuri show up in Avengers movies and to be like, helpful in other things. I just don't know if I wanted to see Black Panther Wakanda Forever on the marquee when I know Chad Boseman's dead. It's just something I maybe wasn't ready for. And the movie starts off as a person who's not already sure you're ready for it. Starts off with this funeral scene and everybody dealing with their grieving. Significant part of the movie is just like a treatise on grief once again and properly dealing with grief. And man, that's kind of a bummer when I was really in the mood for a popcorn movie or, you guys may be shocked to know this, but some people deal with pain. They use humor as a coping mechanism. So I could have used just some dumb fun. And instead they gave us a movie that really wanted to address some things and deal with some things and build some things. And it just wasn't right for me, but it's still a good movie. I still give it a Tim Drake, but I just don't know if I can be fair with it or not. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think.
Not for nothing, but for laughs and everything, there's not a ton of them in this. As far as a Marvel movie goes,
Especially
not a lot of
hours.
laughs. Yeah, I guess obviously, circumstances being what they are, no one's doing like, hey, let's light up some fun with the funeral scene and everything. But yeah, Sean.
For me, I wasn't sure what to expect coming into this. Bruce, I understand that you don't want, a Black Panther movie for 10 years, and I totally get it. And from my perspective, that seems like the right move. However, I think that when you think of just how beloved the actor was and how beloved Wakanda is to, African American kids, if I'm somebody who's 10 years old when Black Panther comes out and I'm an African American kid, it stinks knowing that this guy is no longer with us. But what would stink even more is, and you're not going to get another Black Panther anything for 10 years. And so
they certainly would need to develop other characters to fill in that void. You're correct.
Right. But I mean, you have that pang of like, this is the place that I like, when you're 10. And so if I'm a 10-year-old kid and I'm going into this movie what it would be 14-year-old kid now, like going into this movie, you want it to be great. And if you're a 14-year-old kid who saw Black Panther when you were 10, this is a great movie for you. At least I think, and I would imagine it is. And so for that reason alone, this was not my favorite superhero movie of 2022. Inspector Grom is. See Inspector Grom.
Major Grom.
This is Major Grom. Sorry, Major Grom. That's how much I love it, as I get the name wrong. Major Grom. But this is a good movie. It's not great, but it is good. And this is coming from a very old white man's perspective. So for me, it is a low Tim Drake for me.
Yeah, Tim Drake's all around, it sounds like. I enjoyed the movie. I saw it twice at this point because the first time that I saw it was at a theater that I didn't normally go to, and it looked like I was like looking at a half-dim screen. And so I'm just like, I felt like I'm missing half of the movie just because it just doesn't look really hot. So I went and saw it again and much brighter. And I'm like, oh, look, picture. And my biggest complaint is obviously the longest thing is this bloody movie is long. This is almost 3 hours long. This movie could easily, and I didn't even know what the time was. The first time I saw it, time went by. It was fast enough. The second time, it was, I felt that 2:43. I felt it hard.
Hollywood, bring back the 110-minute movie, please.
If, like, seriously, they could chunk easily 30 minutes out of this, maybe even 40, and you'd had probably an even better movie. I mean, I know some of the sequences kind of need to be there and stuff, but you could have trimmed a lot of fat on this and made a really bouncing movie that even in 2 hours would seem like, 90 minutes. Because that's there. That movie is there in this. It just needs to be trimmed out to a reasonable format. 240 is just unbelievable. But I did really enjoy it. Like you said, with the lack of Chadwick Boseman, it is what it is, and we got to go with what we've got here, and not the dream of our imagination at some point. So with what we've got, it's a Tim Drake for me. So I enjoyed it enough. But I don't need to see it again for a while because 240s in 3 days is it's way too much. Well, that will do it, everybody. Another episode of Hero Movie Podcast in the books. We'll talk about what we're doing next week in just a moment. But, Bruce, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
Check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/C/Bruce Leslie, the handle @Anime Dad. Go check it out. There's a cool video there where I'm talking to Josh from All American Spook Show about Chainsaw Man. So go check that out.
Sweet Shanzi, what'd it do?
We got this other show called Andor 30 Questions, which is the surprise bell of the TV ball this year.
Kind of, yeah.
It is a wonderful show. And if you're not watching that show, you are missing out because it is the best Star Wars we have had in a very long time. And you should watch that show. Andor 30 Questions is our podcast about that show. Check it out.
Do it. That'll do it, everybody. Join us next week when we'll actually still be talking our International November. As I said last week, Enola Holmes 2 on Netflix. That will be next week, so join us again for that. Thank you, everybody, for Sweet Shanzi Kovacs from the Internet. Bruce Leslie, I'm Adam Porters. Stay super, everybody.
Bye, Marty and Evie.
The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake. Just look at the world around you, right here on the ocean floor. Such wonderful things around you. What more is you looking for? Under the sea, under the sea. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Up on the shore, they work all day. Out in the sun, they slave away. While we devoted full time to floating under the sea. Down here, all the fish is happy as off to the waves they roll. The fish on the land ain't happy. They sad cause they hit their bowl. But fish in the bowl is lucky. They're in for a worse of fate. One day when the boss gets hungry, guess who's gonna be on that plate? Oh no! Under the sea, under the sea. Nobody beats us, fry us and eat us if I can see. We are what land folks love to cook. Under the sea, we have the hook. We got no troubles, life is a bubbles under the sea. Under the sea. Since life is sweet here, we got the beat here naturally. Even the surgeon and the ray, they got the urge inside to play. We got the spirit, you got to hear it under the sea. Well, the new play the flute, the cop play the harp, plays play the bass, and they sound they sharp. Bass play the brass, and chub play the tub. Fluke is a duke of soul. The ray he can play the lings on the string. The trout's rocking out, the blackfish can sing. Smilk down the sprout, they know where it's